Seduction is an high form of power. To win over someone, like, let's say you're a man and it's a woman who might be reluctant to have a relationship, requires some effort. It requires some thinking. You can't just hack your way. You can't just swipe and get it. You can have your internet sex, but you're not going to get that in real life. It doesn't work that way. And so when you're seducing someone, it's a story that you're bringing them into. You're creating theater, you're creating drama, you're leading them into this world just like an author will lead a reader through a series of steps. In my last book, Human Nature, I wrote a whole chapter on it. I quoted the figure 95%, but who knows what it really is. The thing it is that we evolved for hundreds of thousands of years before language existed, right? And our earliest ancestors depended on the group for their survival and getting along, and their powers came from observing other people and their body language. You could read it. So it's a skill that's wired into us, wired into our brains. It's a very unique skill that we humans have. It's just that you don't learn that. When you're a child, when you're 2 years old, you have it because your life depends on it. You have to see if your mother is loving you or your father is kind to you. Because if not, you could be abandoned. Your life depends on it. You're great at reading that. And children are incredibly adept at picking up body language. So if someone is fake, if someone's an imposter, they hate being around children because children see through you like radar, right? Because they're so attuned to it. You had that skill when you were very young, but you lost it. Because you became so oriented with words and you became so self-absorbed that you're not paying attention. But it's extremely important, right? So the whole body is involved in it. So you've got to first stop thinking about people's words so much. Because the one thing about words, unfortunately, is people can lie. They can say whatever they want. They can say, I love your screenplay. That was fantastic. You were great in that movie. I thought you were great, et cetera, et cetera. They can say anything to please, to flatter, to cajole you. But body language, man, it doesn't lie, right? So I talk in that book about the eyes and the fake smile. The fake smile is something you see every single day, but you're not paying attention. It's like, it's kind of tight, right? But a real smile, the whole face gets animated and there's a little crinkly thing here as your face, as it lights up and your eyes light up. It's hard to even put into words, but it's there, you can see it. It's real, it's not faked. Knowing the difference between a fake and a real smile is really important in seduction, in business or whatever. To know if someone is like, yeah, I like that idea. No, they don't really. They're saying that to please you. They actually hate your idea. You master that language, you can start deciphering all this bullshit people are giving you. The face, you can disguise it a little bit. Actors know that. But you know what you can't fake? It's your voice. If you're nervous, not even the finest actors in the world can fake that. Your voice betrays so many things about you. It betrays your weakness. It betrays your lack of confidence, or it betrays the other quality, etc. Right? So pay really attention to the tone of people's voices, to how fast they talk. People who talk fast are very nervous. Someone who's talked, I know I'm probably talking a little too fast here, sorry. My mind races, so I do that. Normally I don't talk so fast. But you talk slowly, you have a certain tone, you have a certain intonation that kind of reveals confidence, okay? Body language, posture. You were talking about pecking, right? When you go and look at a meeting of people in a business meeting, you'll see all the employees kind of leaning forward, nervous, and you'll see the boss kind of leaning back, arms crossed like this, I'm the powerful one. You come to me. I'm the leader. I'm the top dog, or she. It's a woman. I don't need to be like this. I'm like this. Body language reveals a lot about leadership qualities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you're at a party and you come up to someone that you're meeting for the first time and they're talking to you and you notice that their feet are angling away from you, that means that they're not really interested. They're looking for any moment to try and walk away and escape. They're not really into you. Whereas their feet are facing you. They're engaged. They want to talk to you, right? This is a whole art you can learn. to win over someone like, let's say you're a man and it's a woman who might be reluctant to have a relationship, requires some effort. It requires some thinking. You can't just hack your way. You can't just swipe and get it. You can have your internet sex, but you're not going to get that in real life. It doesn't work that way. It takes time. It takes patience, and you're going to have to work, and you're going to be rejected. Being with people is a skill. Being a social animal, although there's a part that comes naturally, if you spend all of your time here, you're losing that skill of how to respond to people's body language. Half of the thing is you're sitting in a bar opposite, let's say it's a woman, and how she crosses her legs, how she sips her drink, how she looks at you, how she touches her hair, she's signaling things. It's a language, it's a beautiful language, right? You have to learn it, and you're not going to learn it here because you can't. You have to be in person, it has to be skin to skin. You have to get a feel for what other people are thinking and feeling. And we're actually really, really good at that. Humans that's what makes us human. It's called mirror neurons. I can sense what's going on in your mind. I can read your body language. You have to get out in the world, and you have to put yourself physically out there and try and have rejection. And I know it sounds awful, but it is a skill in a way where you're learning how to understand and deal with people and understand who they are and get inside their spirit. It takes time and effort and patience. So for young men, you have to realize that, right? If you think everything has to be easy and quick, it's never going to work for you. And then I talk about the Hollywood actor Errol Flynn, who is perhaps numerically the greatest male seducer ever, because it's estimated that he had seduced close to 3,000 women, and he died when he was 50. And if I did the math one day, I go, how can that possibly be? And I tried to research what was his secret, and it was hard to find out. Finally, I found a book written by a woman whom he had seduced, another actress, and she said he was so relaxed and so comfortable. It was like an animal type thing. And then when I would sit with him, it was almost as if I had drunk 2 martinis just sitting next to him. His comfort and his security and his confidence, his relaxed attitude, it just made me drunk. So feeling relaxed, feeling confident and not defensive and comfortable with yourself is a very powerful seductive quality. I mean, there are many of them, but that's one that I would point out. What's a little bit tricky here is you have to think that each woman has their own separate fantasy. So first of all, it's a particular type of woman that's reading romantic fiction. Not all women are reading that kind of thing, but each person that you deal with has their own particular fantasies, right? And you want to be very sensitive to that. So if you come at this with this idea that women have these preset kind of ideals, then you're already in trouble, because as far as being you-oriented, you want to drop everything and you want to enter their world and look at the signs that they're giving out as to what their fantasies are. If they happen to be reading that kind of fiction and they happen to be reading those kinds of stories, then great, a little red light goes on in your head. But you want to be looking at all the other signs that they're giving out as well, the movies that they watch, the music that they listen to, the clothes that they wear. If a woman seems to be particularly repressed, that's a sign that they're going to be attracted to that danger element, right? So you want to be paying deep attention to the individual. This is a problem that men have in general that they need to address. They're thinking in generic terms. They're thinking that they don't individualize the woman. And the worst thing you can do in seduction is to give the other person the idea that you are coming at them and thinking of somebody else. You're thinking in terms of stereotypes. You're thinking in terms of your previous girlfriends. You're not looking at them as an individual, the kinds of things that they love, the kinds of things that you can provide them that they're missing in life. So the game is the most important game, as opposed to just thinking in terms of these categories, is dropping all of that stuff in your head and just looking at the woman and entering her world and seeing it for what it is. That's half the game of seduction. Because if they feel that you are individualizing your attention, that is absolutely the key to any kind of seduction, because we don't get any kind of individualized attention in this world. We're hungry for it, and particularly women coming from men, because men don't seem to understand the fantasy element. As you say, a fantasy is kind of a story. It's like a drama. It's going, and so when you're seducing someone, it's a story that you're bringing them into. You're creating theater, you're creating drama, you're leading them into this world just like an author will lead a reader through a series of steps, right? But you have to be very focused on them and who they are in particular. And seduction involves a sense of vulnerability, right? A sense of openness, where you're letting the other person come into you. And the word vulnerable comes from the Latin meaning wound. So vulnerable means the willingness to be wounded, right? And the archetypal image of love and seduction was Cupid with an arrow and hitting you with an arrow and wounding you with love and creating blood from it. It's like there's pain involved because you're opening yourself to another person. You're willing for them to hurt you, and you know that you could be hurt. And so the origin of seduction actually comes from our relationship to our parents. And oftentimes for a man or a woman, Jung talked about this in terms of an animus and an anima. And speaking as a man, you know, anima figures are those kind of women that inhabit your dreams. And I have dreams all the time of that kind of anima woman. And it's usually a certain type, a certain look, certain kind of feel to it, okay? And that anima figure for the man comes mostly from these earliest relationships in childhood, like the mother figure. Generally, it could be a sibling. And when you're a boy and you're facing your mother, you're completely vulnerable, you're weak, you're dependent. And that sense of being dependent is a source of a lot of your erotic tension, but also a lot of your fears, because men are afraid of letting go, afraid of being dependent, afraid of being overwhelmed, right? So you carry within you these images of the anima and the animus. You're vulnerable in those moments, right? But what happens to you as you get older is you try and make yourself invulnerable. Because life is hard, it's harsh, people are coming at you with a million different things. You retreat into yourself, into your ego, into your little castle. You build walls around yourself. And you're afraid of letting someone in. You're afraid of letting go. You're afraid of losing your defenses. And in the 2023, it's worse than ever before because the world is very, very intrusive. People secretly want to be vulnerable. I just wrote a chapter about this in my Sublime book in relation to the idea of love. People want to feel vulnerable. They're just afraid. And so it's, I think, very psychologically important for people today, particularly for young people, to be willing to be vulnerable and to experience what that's like, to experience letting go of your defenses. If you're hurt, how do you deal with that? Because inevitably you're going to be hurt. That builds life skills, that builds toughness, that builds the kind of thickness in you where you can endure being hurt, because life involves in all sorts of hurts, and you're able to function with it and actually invite it in. It's almost good sometimes to invite a little bit of pain in your life. When you want to get physically well and you want to exercise, you realize that getting well involves pain, involves repetitions. It involves running so far that it hurts a little bit, right? So you want to be able to welcome a little bit of that pain. So I think where we are in our culture right now, seduction is incredibly important. And I must say that on all of my social media, when I do a little video about seduction, I get the most views of all. And the irony is that more than ever, that word seduction has like an element of, ew, I don't like that. I don't want to be seduced. Oh, what an ugly book. Oh, Robert's really evil. But secretly, people are yearning to be seduced. Seduction is a high form of power because you make people feel pleasure. You make them feel excited or interested in you. And then their resistance to your ideas slowly lowers, and you have the ability to influence them and to move them in the direction that you want. If you yell at them, like we were talking about your child, and you tell them, do this, do that, they resent it, and for good reason. But if you're subtler, if you're more seductive in your approach, if you're more indirect, people will do what you want or go in your direction without ever even realizing it. So it was a sub-theme in the 48 Laws of Power. And so I was sort of interested in the psychology of that and why some people are good at it and some people are awkward about it. So when I finished the 48 Laws of Power, I thought this would be a natural segue, the next book. I like to distinguish between cold seducers and warm seducers. A cold seducer is something you don't want to be. That's the typical image that we might have of a male seducer, but even of a female seducer, like the great courtesans, etc., where they're just after money or the men are just after sex. That's not my ideal. My ideal is kind of a back and forth quality where it's not domination. It's sort of like a game that you're playing. It's like a mating game. It's like a courtship ritual where both people are kind of seducing each other. And so what makes for a great seducer is very simple. I can summarize it very simply. You are outer directed. So when you meet somebody for the first time or you're on a date or whatever it is, you're not having that internal monologue going, does she like me or does he like me? Am I dressed well? Am I saying stupid things? What can I do to impress them? No. You turn it off and you're outer directed and you're listening to them. And you're entering their spirit, and you're hearing them say things that give you idea of what they're missing in life, of what they want, of what their needs are, of what makes them an individual. You're absorbing it, you're entering into their spirit, and then you can reflect it back to them. You can give them gifts, you can take them to places that show that you're attentive to them. Because if you look at how we are in our day-to-day life, normally people never pay us attention. They're always so self-absorbed. They're never thinking about us. The times where you get the sense that people are actually interested in who you are as an individual is pretty rare. If you give that feeling to someone, it's incredibly powerful because we all want to be validated. We all want to be recognized. So the seducer is not someone who's all worried about him or herself and thinking. They're involved in the other person. They're absorbed like a sponge inside their psychology, inside their world.